Elmwood was a sleepy, forgotten town that hardly ever made the news. Life there was slow, predictable, until the night the Andersons were murdered. The Anderson family, David and Claire, were beloved in Elmwood. David was a local lawyer, and Claire taught at the town's high school. Their daughter, Lily, had just turned 18 and was set to leave for college in a few weeks. When their bodies were found in their home, brutally murdered, it shook the community to its core. The crime was gruesome. David had been bludgeoned to death in the living room, while Claire was found in the kitchen with multiple stab wounds. The house showed no signs of forced entry, leading the police to believe the killer was someone they knew. There were whispers that it might have been a robbery gone wrong, but everyone in town knew better. The Andersons were well off, but nothing significant was taken. It seemed the killer's intent was far more personal. Lily, their daughter, was the only survivor. She was found in her bedroom, seemingly unconscious, with a small cut on her forehead. When she woke up, she claimed to have no memory of what had happened that night. The town's police chief, Henry Collins, knew Lily from when she was a child. He wanted to believe she had nothing to do with it, but something about the case just didn't add up. Days turned into weeks, and the investigation stalled. The townspeople grew suspicious. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some pointed fingers at Lily, suggesting she might have had a motive. She had always been a bit of a rebellious teenager, clashing with her parents over her future. Others whispered about a strange man who had been seen lingering around the Anderson home in the days leading up to the murder. But then a break in the case came when a bloody knife was found in the woods just outside of town. The police matched the blood to Claire Anderson, and the fingerprints on the handle were Lily's. Henry Collins couldn't believe it, but the evidence was undeniable. Lily was arrested, charged with the murder of her parents. The town was in shock. As Lily was being taken away, she kept insisting that she was innocent, that she had no memory of what happened. Her pleas fell on deaf ears, and soon the case seemed open and shut. The trial was swift, and Lily was found guilty. She was sentenced to life in prison without parole. For months, Elmwood tried to move on from the horrific crime, but the shadow of that night lingered over everyone. Lily, meanwhile, continued to claim her innocence, her desperation growing with each passing day. She had lost everything: her family, her future, and now her freedom. 1 year later, a new detective, Jessica Moore, was assigned to review cold cases in the county. Jessica was known for her keen instincts and had a reputation for finding details others had missed. She decided to take a fresh look at the Anderson case, intrigued by the young girl's unwavering claims of innocence. Jessica started by interviewing the townspeople again, and slowly she began to piece together a different picture. She discovered that David Anderson had recently been involved in a heated legal case defending a woman named Marie Caldwell, accused of embezzlement. Marie had a son, Daniel, who had a history of mental illness and had recently been released from a psychiatric institution. Witnesses had seen him near the Anderson house on the night of the murder, but this lead was never fully explored. Jessica dug deeper and found an old security tape from a nearby convenience store. The grainy footage showed Daniel Caldwell purchasing a bottle of painkillers the day after the murders, with bloodstains on his clothes. This evidence had never been connected to the Anderson case, and it seemed to be the missing link Jessica was looking for. She tracked down Daniel and brought him in for questioning. At first he was evasive, but under pressure his demeanor shifted. He began to speak about the Andersons in a strange, detached way, rambling about debts, justice, and making things right. Jessica sensed that he was teetering on the edge, and she pushed harder. Finally, he confessed he had gone to the Anderson house that night to confront David, but things had escalated. He admitted to killing David and Claire, but swore he never meant to hurt anyone else. When asked about Lily, Daniel's face twisted in confusion. He claimed he had never seen her that night. He had heard a noise upstairs after killing Claire and panicked, fleeing the house without going near the bedrooms. Jessica knew he was telling the truth. His story aligned perfectly with the evidence. The shocking realization hit her: Lily had indeed been telling the truth all along. She was innocent. But then, a chilling thought crossed her mind: if Daniel didn't hurt Lily, who did? Jessica rushed back to the Anderson house, now empty and decaying, searching for anything she might have missed. She found an old journal hidden in Lily's room. Inside, she discovered something that made her blood run cold. The journal wasn't Lily's, it was Claire's. The last entry, dated the night of the murder, was a hastily scribbled note: if anything happens to us, find Lily. She's not safe. It was then Jessica pieced together the final twist: Lily's fainting and loss of memory were due to a different attacker altogether. Someone who had wanted to cover up another crime. As she flipped to the back of the journal, she found the name Henry Collins written repeatedly, sometimes with hearts, sometimes crossed out angrily. Suddenly, everything clicked. Henry, the police chief who knew Lily since she was a child, who had been so close to the family, had been having an affair with Claire. He knew about the troubles in the marriage, and when things escalated, he was afraid the truth would come out. So when Daniel broke in that night, Henry seized the opportunity to cover up his own tracks. He had gone back to the house, found Lily unconscious, and cut her forehead, making it look like she had been involved. Then he planted the knife with Lily's prints in the woods. Henry Collins had manipulated the evidence to frame Lily and ensure his secret stayed buried. Jessica, trembling with the realization, knew she had to act fast. As she stepped outside, she felt eyes on her. The shadow of Elmwood's police chief fell over her in the fading light. He gave her a slow, knowing smile and whispered, "Careful, detective. Some secrets are better left dead." But Jessica had already made up her mind this time. The real story would come out. And this time, the town of Elmwood would never forget.